It can be really challenging to pick out a phone case. There's so many options, so many brands, different features, levels of protection, it's overwhelming. Today, I want to show you 3 of my favorite phone cases and explain why I recommend each one of them. I'm going to be focusing this video specifically on the iPhone 17 Pro, but a lot of these cases are available for other iPhones and also for some Androids as well. So now let's jump into the first case. This is Apple's TechWoven case. Now, I know what you're thinking, and before you just click off the video thinking I'm simply an Apple shill, hear me out on this one. First of all, since this is made by Apple themselves, it follows Apple's norms. It's very nice, but it's also quite expensive. This one is $60. The main body of the case is made of recycled polyester woven fabric with TPU plastic reinforced sides, aluminum for the buttons, and some integrated magnets for use with MagSafe chargers and accessories. The woven fabric in particular creates a really unique textured look and feel that is also surprisingly resilient. This is not the same mistake that Apple made with their fine woven cases a couple of years ago. This case is light, it doesn't add a ton of bulk, and since it's made by Apple themselves, the colors match the iPhone colors quite well. This blue color looks great with the deep blue iPhone 17 Pro and creates a really cohesive look. Protection is good, but not outstanding. There is a solid protective ridge around the cameras, and the edges of the case provide more strength and structure thanks to that TPU reinforcement. However, it's not purpose-built for protection specifically, so while it will help defend against some basic scratches and damage from the occasional drop, it's certainly not going to be completely indestructible. This case is at least somewhat built for style. The other downside of this case is that because it's Apple's own case, it's likely a popular choice that many other people are going to have, which is not great if you specifically want to stand out in a crowd. The only other notable feature is the connection points for a crossbody strap, either Apple's own or one from a third party. Other than that, there's not many bells and whistles with this one, but it looks nice, it's simple to purchase at the same time that you get your iPhone, it will match your phone's colors, and it's just an easy choice while still being a solid, resilient case. Next up is the Peak Design Everyday Case, which is one that I have reviewed previously, and this time around it was sent to me by the company, though I have bought multiple versions of this case in the past with my own money, and the other 2 cases that I'm looking at in this video were paid for by me as well. The main part of the body is made of polycarbonate plastic covered in either recycled nylon, which you'll see on my model and which has proven to be very resilient in my use over the years. Alternatively, there is a vegan leather option called Clarino available as well. Just like with the Apple case, the outside uses TPU plastic bumpers for protection. The result is similar to the TechWoven case. Good for protection, but not fantastic, though the Peak design is slightly more rigid and likely to protect a little bit more. If protection is a major concern for you, Peak Design also makes a NAR version of their case, NAR like gnarly. That model is specifically designed to be more rugged and durable, but doesn't look quite as sleek as a result. Also like Apple's model, the buttons utilize aluminum, and there are MagSafe magnets included as well. Unlike Apple, there's a locking ring for use with some proprietary Peak Design accessories within their SlimLink ecosystem. Now this is a big differentiator for this case. SlimLink is really cool, especially if you do any sort of biking, scootering, motorcycling, all sorts of stuff like that. Essentially how it works is that there are teeth on the SlimLink compatible mounts that grab onto this square on the back of the case and which hold the phone incredibly tightly until you use the buttons on the back to release it. So if you want navigation on a bike or motorcycle ride that definitely won't fall off when you hit a bump, this is perfect. Peak Design also makes other accessories like this wallet, which I've used for several years now and absolutely love, a charging stand that I'm a big fan of as well, plus a ton of straps which are officially designed for cameras, but can be used with hooks on the case, just like what exists on the Apple case. Honestly, you really can't go wrong with anything in the Peak Design lineup. They really do make quality stuff. The iPhone 17 Pro version of this everyday case comes in this charcoal color plus 4 other options, 3 of which are the Clarino vegan leather. It's available for older phones as well, and they make Android versions for the Google Pixel or Samsung Galaxy. The nylon version costs $50, and the NAR versions are $60. Just like with Apple, these cases are pretty expensive, but in this case, you're buying into the SlimLink ecosystem where you unlock a lot of different possibilities. The only downside is that if you don't have a wallet or another accessory attached, this indented square on the back can be a little bit awkward when you hold your phone, so you should probably only really get this case if you plan to use some of the other accessories as well. Finally, we have the ESR Classic Hybrid Phone Case. Now, ESR sent one of these over to me last year, and it wound up spending much of the year on my phone, so I decided to buy the iPhone 17 Pro version this year as well. ESR makes cases for both iPhones and Samsungs, though this exact model seems to be iPhone only, but ESR's naming for their products can also be a little bit confusing, so I'll provide a direct link in the video description to try to limit any confusion. This is definitely the discount option on my list. It retails for $36, but is typically on sale for less than that. It once again has TPU bumpers around the outside, including TPU over all of the buttons, other than that camera control button, which seems to be a glossy hard plastic or possibly ceramic. They don't seem to really specify what it's made of. The back is made of polycarbonate and acrylic, plus there are MagSafe style magnets integrated in as well. And then finally, there's a zinc alloy used for this metal camera guard. This color is called frosted blue, but there are several other options, including both frosted and clear models, plus similar cases that are fully silicone. I think that this blue looks incredible with the blue phone. You can probably tell by now that I love the color blue, but with the variety that's available here, you're bound to find something that you like. My only real complaint with the materials is that the back of the case gathers finger oils quite easily. This was a problem with the case last year, but it seems to have gotten a little bit worse this time around. Thankfully, I use a wallet on the back day to day, the Peak Design one, so I don't really have to see it when I use this case. But if you don't use anything covering the back, this might bother you if you're prone to getting annoyed by having grease and grime on your things. Of the three cases that we looked at today, the ESR case probably provides the most robust protection. It has thicker TPU bumpers, including reinforcements on the corners. There's a metal camera guard that protects this whole top section of your phone when you lay the phone down. Plus, they are the only ones of the three to protect around the cameras as well. ESR claims that this case has 11 feet of drop protection. Now, I always take things like that with a bit of a grain of salt. You never really know if your phone's going to survive a drop like that. But either way, it's likely to do the best in a drop scenario of the three cases that I have here, all while not looking crazy and thick and industrial like some phone cases do. The final feature to highlight goes back to that camera guard, which does more than just protection. This is also known as the stash stand because it pops out from the phone, allowing you to stand your phone up in either portrait or landscape mode. This is great for watching videos, using standby mode when charging at night, or just having your screen be more visible and accessible throughout the day. This year, the stand is obviously much larger than before due to the larger camera bump on the latest iPhones. This makes it more stable to use, but you also might think that it looks a bit more unwieldy, which it kind of does. Mine is also a bit harder to open and close than the previous model, which will probably loosen up over time, but will be annoying at first as it requires a good bit of force to get it open. In its totality, despite this being the cheapest of the three cases that we're looking at today, it's really the most feature-packed case on the list. It also looks pretty cool and offers a lot of value for the money. So what do you think? Do you agree with my picks, or are there other brands or specific cases that you would have swapped in your own list? Let me know, and I'll use your feedback to help guide my testing in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you found this useful at all, and I'll see you in the next one.